Hello, Lionesses. This is Bobby Carlton. I am the publisher and editor-in-chief of Lioness Magazine, as well as the founder of Innovation Women. And today I am talking with Lisa Wang. She is the founder of Faceted Beauty. So Faceted Beauty offers limited edition, reusable, custom press-on gel nail kits. Don't look at my nails. That's why you're here, right? What makes these kits different than what you're getting in, say, a drugstore?
That is such a great question. First and foremost, thank you so much, Bobby and Lioness Magazine, for having me here representing Faceted Beauty. I'm super, super excited for this. So to answer your question of what makes Faceted Beauty nails different, a few reasons. First and foremost, as a company, our mission is rooted in the belief that beauty transcends a one size fits all. So when it comes to nails, right, the nails that you can receive at the drugstore at a lower price point, you generally receive about 24 pieces of nails in that kit. And then you do your own measurement. And you'll probably get aware of them for about a few days. Generally, most of them are non-reusable. So after you're done using those nails, what do? You tend to just toss them in the trash. Now, for Faceted Beauty press-on gel nails, our nails are different in that they're fortified in real gel. They're 100% vegan, they're cruelty-free, and also nine-free. The fact that they're fortified with gel, which I have some on right now called Feeling Fruity.
Nice.
The fact that they're fortified with real gel, that allows the user to reuse these nails over 3 times. We've actually had customers who've reused them over 5 times now, which is really great to hear. So you're not only saving yourself time, but you're saving yourself that money where you don't have to go back and purchase nails that you really love all over again. Now, on the money factor, generally, women in the United States spend over $1,300 a year on their nails, just on nail care alone. And with Faceted Beauty, when you decide to switch your product to our nails, we're actually putting 65% of that money that you would normally spend back into your pocket, into other areas of your life where you want to invest.
Oh, that's great. Now, I happen to know a little bit about you. I happen to know that you used to work for an organization that supported and educated entrepreneurs. So I would love to hear what kind of lessons you learned there that you then brought to your own startup. Maybe you could share some big takeaways.
Absolutely. That opportunity really changed my life in my entrepreneurial journey for a multitude of reasons. One, coming from a background as a daughter of immigrant refugees, my parents were thrown into entrepreneurship when they came during the Vietnam War as a means of survival. Whereas in this generation, and what you're starting to see with entrepreneurship is that it's not in a blanket terms, but generally no longer like a need, like out of survival, but as like, what is your dream? What is your aspiration? Right. And for me, it was very interesting to learn, coming from Wisconsin, then moving to Boston, that the idea around entrepreneurship is more rooted in passion rather than like fight or flight, of which I was more aware of. Now, when I came across this organization, with over 50 chapters worldwide, I really had the both honor and privilege to learn from so many different entrepreneurs, serial entrepreneurs, first-time entrepreneurs, from various walks of life with different experiences. And, I kid you not, Bobby, I've written during my almost 2 years there at the organization, I had a notebook that was just this thick with all the notes that I've taken, like members of the community, I'm sure, could recall when they shared a tip with me. I'm like, okay, let me just write it down really quick. But as many tips as I could write down, there was one that just really stuck with me. And it sounded simple at first, but now I understand the meaning behind this tip. There's a reason why, though it might sound like a canned response, I understand the importance of it. And that tip was, just go for it. Even if you fail, just go for it. As someone who tends to be risk adverse based on my upbringing, growing up in an immigrant refugee household, just taking a risk was difficult. But every entrepreneur that I had the privilege of having a conversation with and learning from, the undertone was always just go for it. Just do it, because at least you will know, right? There's nothing worse than going through life and just asking yourself, what if I had done that? And every day as an entrepreneur myself, like I have to remind myself of that simple yet crucial tip of just do it, because not only are you battling certain circumstances as entrepreneur, may be access to technology, to resources, to social capital, but you're also battling that inner voice in your head of like, maybe I should do something else, or maybe I should just stop. But then that tip has really remained inside my heart and my mind all this time.
That's a great one. So, Lisa, what you're doing is really at the intersection of business and art. How did you come to put these two things together?
Well, it always comes back from personal experience where, like for me, I went to school. I had the privilege of going to college, to university specifically, at University of Wisconsin-Madison. I went for my degree of sociology and gender and women's studies, which actually you could probably see that like weaved into the mission of Faceted Beauty itself. But when it comes to art, I really went to nail art as a means of self-expression and also survival, right? Of self-care. It all started with using toothpicks to put little dots on my nails. When I would go to classes, my classmates would be like, oh my gosh, how did you do that? Can you do that for me too? So then as soon as I understood that my need for self-expression was beyond my own self, that this also resonated with other folks, I just knew that I had to dive a little bit more on like nail art. So it's been decades into the making of just my passion and obsession with nail art, to where in college, I actually submitted to a national nail art competition. It was by Sally Hansen. It was actually called I Heart Nail Art. I believe the year that I participated, this was, my goodness, like almost 6 years ago now. This was their third annual national competition. I just remember thinking to myself and having that seed of doubt, like, oh my gosh, well, I love nail art. It's a passion and an obsession, but I don't know if I'm good enough, right? It's always that question of like, well, can I do it? My sister actually, on the very last hour of submitting, she was like, if you're not going to do it, then I'm going to do it. I'm like, no, wait, you're right. I should do it. As soon as I submitted, fast forward, I came out top 4 out of over 16,000 people who had participated in this national competition through Sally Hansen. Blew my mind. I believe I was the only person from the Midwest that year that was qualified to go to the finals out in New York City. When I was flown out to New York City, I mean, even just receiving the email of congratulations really affirmed my talents and my passion and the vision that I had for myself. When I was able to explore the headquarters at Coty Incorporated, which owns Sally Hansen as a portfolio company, they really inspired me, where I could see things behind the scenes. Like, this is how we choose the nail colors, and this is the brainstorming of how we choose the names, and these are the products. And I'm like, wow, this is real. This is so real. Like, not a lot of people are fortunate to be able to see the things behind the scene when it comes to the art, when it comes to nail lacquer and nail care products. But all of that really fed into, well, I could do this too. Shortly after, I was actually scouted by a large nail care brand that wanted my art services on creating nail art for their nails. And I thought that was amazing. The experience that really changed my life in that connection was realizing that there was a cap that you can make as a nail artist. So for Faceted Beauty, yes, like nail art is central to what we offer, and the ability to change your nails at your leisure. Being a multifaceted person, you have different environments that you're a part of and different roles that you play. So our nails really allow you to play into that. But then also, our goal is supporting nail artists as well, right? Where nail artists could also have a place with our company where they can showcase their artwork while also sustaining themselves.
That is a great explanation of how you got to where you are. So you have an offering, some amazing art for our fingertips. Did you bring some samples besides the ones you're wearing? I'm so curious.
Yes. So this one here, actually, let me show you the box. So
Mhm.
all of our press-on gel nail kits come in a 100% recyclable box.
All right.
Um,
And right now you're only selling online, right?
that is correct. Yes.
Okay.
So after this, let me just take off this cover here. We display our nails in this similar fashion, where you have 10 custom fit press-on gels. So what you do is you go on our website at facetedbeauty.com. You capture your nail DNA, which is a short 10-minute activity of measuring the surface of your nails with a ruler. Then you submit those measurements to us. Once we have it, you never have to do it again. All you do is just shop for your style that's on our shop, and then we will handcraft them and send them out to you.
Incredible.
I should mention too, actually, let me look for it. Each press-on gel kit comes with the kit itself.
Ah,
So this has a wooden cuticle pusher, a mini nail file, a little alcohol prep to ensure that you're removing any emollients on the surface of your nail. That way it could stay on longer. And then also, as I should mention, it comes with two different adhesive types.
mm,
The nail tabs that you see shining here, and then the nail glue. So the great thing about our nail kit is that you have the option of wearing these nails either for one event, one Zoom event for one day, or you can wear these nails for as long as 14 days.
oh, wow. Okay.
Mhm.
So you are doing this as a solopreneur, right?
Yes.
All right. Was that part of your original plan?
Definitely not. I can tell you one of the tips that I kept receiving too when I worked at my former organization was find a team, find a co-founder. And I'm like, yes, absolutely. But then you learn from serial entrepreneurs that it is definitely like a marriage. You have to make sure maybe your co-founder or investors that you're bringing onto the cap table to really ensure that these are people that you jive with and you're really meeting each other's needs. So I am taking my time in finding folks to bring on my team on a C level suite. And I have to say, like for me, I've always envisioned as someone who is, yes, a leader and is formidable in my own ways and driven. I also really love collaborating with others. I am through and through a team player. I think a large part of that is also because I grew up in a large family. So we learned early on what it meant to be a part of a team. So with Faceted Beauty, I've envisioned that from day one, but definitely learning ever so quickly that it is also an art and it takes patience and you want to make the right decision when bringing people on board.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Other people, when they are in this role that you're in, are thinking about probably some of the same things that you're thinking about, and you've got your handy dandy little book of all of those tips. So, what advice can you offer other just getting started companies?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Especially in COVID-19 pandemic where we're still quarantined, I have actually found it to be very useful. The fact that a lot of communities are shifting online and really building out the apps and capabilities, the features to host a digital community. My recommendation is join as many digital communities as you can that fall in your wish list, right? May it be like 2 digital communities or 5, you really want to maximize the relationship building, because almost everyone is looking to continue building their relationships online, though we can't offline. So if you're someone like me who is an ambivert and like you love chatting with people and getting to know people's story, but then also your energy kind of goes down a little bit, definitely do not underestimate digital communities that you could join. Leverage Slack that these digital communities are a part of. Don't be afraid to shoot a message and shoot an email and have a Zoom coffee date. Like I've probably gone on over 40 plus virtual meetings within like the last few months. And every single experience was a positive one that really came back around to help Faceted Beauty.
Wow, that's great. And actually, one of the questions you mentioned earlier that you're still offering handcrafted. Like
Mm-hmm.
that is super tough in terms of, big level scaling. So I'm curious, like, what's next for you in terms of scaling your business and any advice that you want to offer others in terms of scaling their businesses?
Absolutely. As someone who is still learning what it means to scale when it comes to the operations and the manufacturers and just quite frankly the cost that feeds back to the business model, I honestly still learning, so I'm also down if anyone has any tips. Would love to chat. But what I could share with you, what I'm learning right now is I am really grateful that currently with our ever evolving product that we are handcrafted, because it allows us to pivot and make changes accordingly versus having chat with the manufacturer, especially mainly that are overseas. When it comes to nail care, you have to purchase in such large quantities, what they call MOQs. I couldn't have imagined being stuck with inventory, especially during this time where the handcrafted is serving its purpose during these times. However, for the next stage for Faceted Beauty is exactly that. And you hit it on the nail, is scaling. How does Faceted Beauty scale where we can maintain the quality and also the artwork, our integrity, to the triple bottom line, which is the people, planet, and our profits. How can we scale that with a manufacturer whom we could trust to make that happen? So that's the next step for us, is scaling on the nail DNA portion specifically, and then also on the product development, where you can still get the quality that we currently offer.
It's interesting. There's a whole concept in entrepreneurship around the lean startup. And I think a lot of people, when they think about the lean startup concepts, the minimal viable product and, these concepts that came around lean, they really only think about it in terms of digital products. They don't necessarily think about using some of those concepts with physical products. And it sounds like you're doing some of that process in terms of really honing the product that you have and, making the products by hand allow you to do that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And in turn, too, by making these handcrafted for now, it's getting that feedback from the customer, which is so key, because at the end of the day and at the beginning of the day, we are serving our community, we are serving our customers. So as soon as our customer wears them, we get the feedback like, yeah, I loved this, have you thought about this? I'm like, wow. No, I haven't. Let me definitely make that little tweak and send you another one and see what your thoughts are on this. So that's been incredibly helpful.
Oh, that's great. So what's next for Faceted Beauty?
I love that question. It is something that I think about every single moment, every day, and it truly is exciting because the world is your oyster. So for Faceted Beauty is now that, I would imagine that digital communities and just online presence, online sales like e-commerce is gonna stay. Um, Sales online has definitely boosted for beauty products, and what the coined term now is, well, the nail polish effect. We've heard of the lipstick effect, right? During the Great Depression, and in times of economic distress, And with COVID-19, not only with the virus, but then also with folks across the board losing jobs, hard to find jobs and housing, the subscription to DIY beauty and nail care has grown exponentially. For example, Amazon sales on nail care has grown almost 300%, which is amazing on a year over year. So these types of indications really show me that for us, our next move is really building out that digital experience. People have asked me, will you ever open up a storefront? And I'm not going to say no to that. But for now, it's really focusing on our online community and what they're looking for.
That sounds great. Where can people find out more?
Yes, so you can find us on Instagram at Faceted Beauty and then also at facetedbeauty.com.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for joining us today. It's really been very interesting to learn more about an area I obviously know very little about and learn more about how you are growing your business.
Thank you so much, Bobby, for having Faceted Beauty here. Thank you, Lioness Magazine. Really excited to continue supporting each other, and I wish you all the best on the nail journey. Let me know. I'm more than happy to share some tips too if you're looking for some. I'm always scouting for tips for myself.
All right, great. Thank you so much. And we'll talk to you soon, and come back maybe and pick up when you hit that manufacturing scaling stride. Yeah, because then we'll be seeing them on everybody's fingers.
Yes.
All right, take care.
Thank you.